Alright, I am now recording my video for the 1996 Colorado Avalanche. Yes, Colorado. A year before that, they'd been the Quebec Nordiques. And this guy wasn't happy about the move. In fact, I was pretty livid about the move. I'd been a Quebec Nordique fan for a long time, and then they go to Colorado. And then I was okay with it to some extent because I liked most of the players on the team. And then they went out and got Patrick Roy from Montreal. Yes, Mario Tremblay, Ronald Corey, and that mess in Montreal allowed Patrick Roy to leave. Now, I have magazines and annuals from around that time which speculated that Patrick Roy wasn't really a premier goaltender anymore in the NHL. And maybe he needed more of a break, and maybe there was too much of an expectation of him in Montreal. Maybe he was a little past it. I never bought it because I knew better than to buy it. Because as a Bruins fan, you'd hope. You go, well, maybe he's going to have an off. Nope. He'd outduel whoever you put in net. Didn't matter who it was. So when you look at the Colorado run, and I don't have my whiteboard. I don't have markers. I don't have papers. All I have is this great marble background. Hey, when you got a penthouse suite, you got to use what you got. You know what I'm saying? This is a pretty cool upgrade. Free upgrade, penthouse suite. You got to use the surroundings for your videos. So Colorado on their run, and I'd like to thank YouTube for the free book today. It's pretty cool. So Vancouver lost in 6 in the first round. I remember that series well because Vancouver was on their way down. The Canucks had finished in the final in 94. 95, they got into the second round before Chicago beat them. In 96, they were out in the first round, and it just kept getting worse from there. Chicago was the team that Colorado beat in the second round. I was so happy that Chicago got knocked out in the second round. Notice that between 92 and 96, I went from I'm cheering for Chicago to screw Chicago. It was very quick. A lot of it had to do with Chris Chelios, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that in 95, Chicago knocked out Vancouver, and it was just, they were all overtime games. They were close, but sadly, it was a sweep. So I was very glad to see Colorado knock Chicago out in 6. The conference final against Detroit. So it was a 6-game win for Colorado, but the hatred between Colorado and Detroit is epic. There's no lack of footage online. This is why people say you should show game footage. There's no lack of footage on YouTube of Colorado fighting with Detroit, and I recommend it to everybody. Because when you got Patrick Roy at center ice fighting with Mike Vernon, you've got a party. Was it Vernon or Osgood? I'll stay with Vernon. Pretty sure it was Osgood, though, but I'll stay with Vernon. No, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it's a fight at center ice between two goalies. And Roy seemed to be quite overjoyed with the idea of getting into a fight. It's another reason why, as much as I hated Roy, I kind of loved the guy. It's an interesting team in that Adam Foote's on the blue line, and Adam Foote's a legend in Colorado for good reason. Not a Hall of Famer. I don't know that ever changes. Curtis Lecision's on the blue line, one of my favorite defensemen ever. One of the greatest names ever. The only Hall of Famers on this team, obviously Patrick Roy, obviously Joe Sakic, and obviously Peter Forsberg. No doubt with any of those guys. I always liked Valeri Kamensky. He had 71. He had 85 points. Sakic led the way with 120. Remember, this is the dead puck era. That was an impressive total. Forsberg right behind him at 116. This is before injury issues took over with Forsberg. Kamensky with 85. Claude Lemieux had 71. That Claude Lemieux. Scott Young had 60. Sanders Ozolinsh with 50. Loved Sanders Ozolinsh. Another great name. Fantastic name. And Adam Deadmarsh with 48. In terms of penalty minutes with guys with 100 or more, Foote wasn't far off, but he didn't make it. Claude Lemieux, 117. Deadmarsh, 142. Chris Simon, one of the dirtiest players who ever played the game, 250. and Warren Reichel with 147. So while the toughness wasn't necessarily that deep in Colorado, there were a few guys you didn't want to get caught in a dead alley with. Or a dark alley with. Dead alley? Dead alley works too. Sure. I may have had a couple of drinks at the Creator thing. Who didn't? I mean, it was happy hour. It was fun. There was a lot. She had 5. 5. Yeah. Hi, I love you. 5. Okay. In the playoffs, they only played 22 games. Joe Sakic had 34 points. Runaway Conn Smythe winner. Sakic dragged him there. Kamensky, 22 points. Forsberg, 21 points. Ozolinsh, 19. Mike Ricci had 17. Ricci was another one of those guys. His regular season totals weren't necessarily great, but man, in the postseason, did he ever show up. And a beautiful man, too. Was he? Go look it up. Adam Deadmarsh, 17 points, and Uwe Krupp, 16. Another one that you'd look at regular season and go, he's good defenseman, and in the postseason, he just turned it on. Of course, in the finals, they would sweep Florida. It was the most hotly contested sweep, I think, in terms of sweeps in the finals that I'd ever seen. I think it was really disappointing. I remember when Colorado won, and it was Uwe Krupp that scored that goal. I think it was third overtime or fourth overtime against Florida. It sucked because I really wanted Florida to at least win a game in the final. I really desperately wanted Florida to win a game in the final. Why? Because they were the underdogs. But Colorado was not going to be denied. It was a very impressive run, and it had a lot of people talking at the time about whether or not the Avs were the next dynasty. Sakic was in his prime. Forsberg looked like he was just getting better every year. Raw looked like he was never going to get old. They had a tremendous blue line, lots of scoring depth. Really, really fantastic team. But the battles with Detroit weren't over. The battles with Detroit went on for a while. And I know people want me to talk about the battles with Detroit a little more. Now, I did a video on that not too long ago, but what I learned today on my little Creator Day is you can redo an old video. Just go back and change the tag in the old video and do it again. Just do it a little different, do it with a different perspective, and it's all right. And I heard that from multiple YouTubers that do it. I heard it from the girls who are representatives of YouTubes themselves. So by all means, let me know in the comment section below what you want to see. And even if I've done it before, maybe I'll do it again. But for tonight, for this, honestly, Colorado's Stanley Cup win was fantastic. It really was. And even though it took them 6 games, the first 3 series, they were never really in trouble in any of those series. And when they buckled down, nobody could stop them. Not that year. That would change not too long after that. But for now, for today, they're the Stanley Cup champions of 1996. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, I'm not done here. Not by a long shot. But I will talk to you again soon.